there, my spooky, scary skeletons. It's Glow in Real Life, your guide to the ghoulish, your share of the spook, and a fan of all things frightful. Welcome back to another episode of my Halloween Spooktacular. Today, we're doing something a little bit different on my channel. I've never done a video like this, so I'm really excited for it. I thought that I would do a speed paint video that's kind of focusing on Inktober. Now, if you don't know what Inktober is, it is a drawing challenge that takes place in October. It's basically a list that gives you prompts every day for 31 days in October of something you could draw, and it's just a single word that could inspire you. You could draw the actual prompt itself, or it could be like something that prompt makes you think of, anything to get you to draw every single day. Now, some people try to focus on only using ink, and other people try to focus on the Tober side of things by making the drawings spooky, which is kind of the route that I wanted to go to. So I decided to give you an Inktober drawing of my own, and I really hope you guys like it. If you want to support this channel, be sure to hit that applause button down below because it supports the channel by making a donation, which helps me go to all these awesome Halloween events. But also remember that liking this video and sharing it with friends also helps a lot. I want to remind you all to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because I'm going to be doing 30 days of Halloween videos and I wouldn't want you to miss one. So, let's get into the speed paint. Alright, so for this speed paint, I followed the official Inktober prompt list for 2020, and October 1st, which is when I filmed this video, the prompt was fish. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but my dog Daisy, for some reason, it's a long story, we started calling her a fish, and I just wanted to say, no, it is not because she likes baths or the water. It was just a weird thing that we started calling her, but it is her nickname. She is Fish. And so, of course, I thought I immediately wanted to draw Daisy. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. And I had been kicking around the idea for a long time of drawing Daisy like the classic monsters, like Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, and a few others, and making them a whole art piece. So I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to actually make this piece, and I have to say I'm very happy with the way it came out. So I originally started with just sketching out the daisy bodies or daisy shapes that I wanted to just line everything up and make it all work. And then I went through and I started sketching like my first sketch layer of just like kind of going in with like what I wanted to do for each design, like where I wanted to put the stitches on the Frankenfish. And then I did the Invisible Man. This one was a little tough because I wanted to make sure that they all like were kind of on the same level and all lined up. The Invisible Man, though, I thought was really cute. Then we did the Bride of Frankenstein, which I struggled a lot with her face and ear a little bit here because I wanted to make sure that you could still see like her like defining features even with that incredible hair of hers. Alright, up next we have my personal favorite, which is the Mummy. I absolutely love the way this came out. I think it was so cute. I was really excited to do this one. I really love drawing like mummies and like bandages. I think it's really fun to do. I love all the lines. And a little touch I wanted to throw in is that her bandages had kind of torn away and her little bone on her leg was exposed, which will never ever happen in real life. We never want to, that's something we don't want to see in real life, but it was very cute in the drawing itself. I have to say that the Mummy is probably my favorite. It's the one that I put the most time into because those bandages took a while. So up next we have Dracula. This one was cute. I felt like I got a little stumped because there wasn't too much to do besides like the cape and the fangs. But I still think it was cute. So now I'm just going through again and kind of adjusting like their positions and everything so they'll be lined up, and then it'll be time for line art. Alright, so now I'm going in with the line art. This is just cleaning up the original sketch, picking out my favorite lines, and kind of just making them a bit smoother, and kind of refining everything. So one thing I did want to point out is kind of the color of my line art. A lot of people sometimes use black, but I personally use a kind of reddish brown color. If you look up into the color like box and color wheel, you can see that it isn't just straight black. I like this because I feel like it isn't as harsh as like black, and it makes it look a little bit more natural while still keeping that cartoony style that I love. I struggled a lot with Daisy's back leg. I'm really not good at drawing animals. You guys know that I definitely draw people more than I draw anything else. And so this was actually my first time ever doing like a digital piece or like kind of a finished illustration with animals. So I definitely struggled a little bit with the proportions. I also struggled a lot with these glasses, trying to get the lines right and everything, but I finally did it. Yeah, the little shadow too, I struggled with. Alright, up next we're on the Bride of Frankenstein, and now that I'm looking back on this, and as I was drawing it, I realized that I forgot a lot of stuff in the first line art. Like I forgot to do her stripe, and you'll see me come back and do that later. But yeah, that's definitely something that happens, is forgetting to do stuff in your line art section of your drawing and then having to go back. That is something I love about digital art, is how easy it is to just erase something or go back if you forgot something without having to change too much of your actual drawing. Well, now we have the line art of the mummy, and this is probably like the meat of the video. The line art on the mummy took me so long to do, just because there's all those lines and, you know, bandages. I had to make sure they were all smooth, and it was worth it in the end. I have to say that not even talking about the mummy itself, this was probably my favorite Daisy. I really enjoyed her face shape and her little ears. I think it captured her. I actually forgot the tail at this point. I hadn't realized it, but don't worry, I will go back and fix it. And then on to the final line art. This is a Dracula. I actually realized that the Dracula compared to the others was a lot bigger, and so I had to kind of go off of my design and my line art and kind of change it up myself. And I struggled a lot with her little head furs, I guess you could say. So I actually had to turn the opacity on my sketch layer down so it wasn't confusing me too much. And now I'm just going through again and resizing Mummy Daisy because she was a little bit smaller than all the others. So now it's time for the best part, coloring. Then I was going through and filling in where I wanted Daisy's skin to be poking through in the mummy costume. And then I remembered to draw her tail, and I struggled with it like a lot. As you can see, I got a little angry. But now all is right in the world, and we're finishing the coloring of Daisy. And then I remembered to do the stripe, and at this point I was thinking, how could I forget all this? And then I went through and added the little pink tongues. And now I'm adding the little Frankenstein bits to Daisy. I decided to do like a blue and green color palette just because I thought it would be a little bit more visually interesting. I struggled a little bit with trying to find an eye color because I didn't want to do black, but I didn't want it to be too close to the skin color itself, or the fur color I should say. And then I filled in the glasses and finished up pretty much the invisible man didn't take too long. Then at this point I was working on the Bride of Frankenstein, finding a good hair color that wasn't too light but then again wasn't too dark. And then I colored her dress in. The mummy, I have to say, I really love the color of the bandages. I thought that was so much fun. I even did a little bit of aging, but you guys will see that a little bit more later. And then finally we have Dracula. This one was pretty easy, but I decided to go for like a warmer color palette than I would have with the others. So now I'm just going through doing some touch-ups on anything the bucket tool might have missed and just fixing up any little errors and mistakes. Alright, so now it is time for shading, which is something I struggle with a lot, but I decided for the Frankenstein to go with more of like a blue tint shading, so she looked a little bit more like dead and zombie-fied. But I definitely do struggle with shading, but for all the others I decided to go with a warmer color palette. And now I'm just going through and doing the shading on the Bride of Frankenstein. It's very hard to shade cloth, and so that was something I struggled with a little bit. Now we have the Mummy. Again, my favorite. I think it's so cute. And now we're moving on to Dracula. I'm doing some of the highlights. And these were cute because I felt like it really helped Daisy's eyes sparkle. I even did some little highlights on her tongue. They're a little hard to see, but they are there. Going through, highlighting a few bandages here and there, and just making everything look nice. And now I'm going through and adding a background and just shading it a bit. And going through and blending it out so it kind of isn't so one-dimensional. And now I'm going through and adding some aging to Daisy's bandages, and after that I wasn't really feeling the brown background, and so I went through and messed with the hue and saturation a bit and made it this nice desaturated blue color, which I felt allowed a pleasing background while still letting the daisies pop off the page. And then it was done. Alright guys, so that was my speed paint. I absolutely love the way it came out. I think it was so cute. I have to say that the Mummy was probably my favorite. I think it was just so cute. I love her little exposed bone, even though she should never have that in real life. We don't want that. But Daisy was such a good little model for me. I had so much fun doing that. You know, that like I feel like the classic monsters, we kind of joke with my mom about how that was like the theme for last year's Spooktacular, and the classic monsters is kind of a joke between the two of us. And so I had to draw Daisy as the classic monsters because I thought it would just be super fun. I didn't do the Wolfman or the creature from the Black Lagoon, which is other ones that I might want to add on eventually, but I thought they were just super cute. If you guys are interested in prints, that might be an option. Leave a comment down below if you'd be interested in getting a print. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a spooky video just like this one. And I will see you all later, guys. And I'm sure Daisy would tell you to stay spooky. Bye!